All right.
All right. Are we
Let
live?
me, yeah, we're live. I'm gonna go ahead and do another tweet from the account.
Awesome.
Be like, we're live. I wish there was like a link I could share, but things when you go live, you can't. There's no real like link to share.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Mm.
yeah,
Let me
it's
see
just
if I
more.
can find one. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna join from my account too, so I
yeah,
can
it's not really a link. It's
comment.
just more so like, um, yeah, yeah, be like, we're live.
Yep.
Oh, okay,
We
just kidding.
are
It like,
live. All right. Let's see if comments. Yeah, comments work too. Great.
um, okay.
All right. Here, let me share
Yeah, we go.
the
Yeah,
screen.
there's a little link we can do, which is cool. All right, all right. Let's give people some time to join.
Yep.
People are joining. Everyone wants to know what's going to go hard. Hi, Crypt V7. Yes, go hard.
Hello. Hello.
I
Yeah, he's our
love that.
double winner
I love that. Yeah,
from our
double
contest.
winner.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, how you feeling over there?
Hey, Sir Stacks,
Modu.
what's up?
Yes, Addy. Yes, Modu. We love Modu.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
No, add your screen. I have to add it to the stage. Now we can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let me get this started while we're waiting. I'll get my prompt in here and we can chat with Modu a little bit.
Yeah, let's see what Modu's up to.
Yeah. So my, as you can see here, my prompt's pretty lengthy. If
Did
we want
you
to go through it a little bit, I can go through the prompt itself.
Yeah, I mean, when we start at some point, I'd love you to walk us through how you kind of got such an elaborate prompt. Um,
Yeah.
and kind of just like just so people can know, there's different ways now. And also like with prompt enhancement, now you don't even have to outsource that anymore. But I am curious how you got.
I will use the enhancement tool as well. I'm curious to see
Mhm.
what it does. So it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I've become a big fan of the enhancement tool myself. I mean, even for those of you who are doing this week's contest, which is like a one prompt, app builder, like I did just use one prompt, but I did enhance that singular prompt, right? And it
Hmm.
made something so much more complex and cool. Um, so yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with Builder 2.0, as I'm sure a lot of people have been. So I'm excited to hear more about how you all who are watching have been using it. I'm excited for me and Slava to tell you how we've been using it ourselves, and also just have him walk you through like a build and just see it in action. Because it's one of those things where we can share the demo videos and we can show you like screenshots, and all of it are real. Like we didn't make any of those things up, right? But there is something so cool about like watching it happen in front of you that and as you can see, like this is not pre-recorded. We're real. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Hello.
Yeah, we're fully real. So everything we're going to show you, it's gonna be the magic of vibe coding live. Like what you see here it's real. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
live comes with its ups and downs. So let's see
yeah,
how it goes. And I
yeah.
hope, Modu plays along with us. Modu's been great. I like the character itself, just the tone in which it communicates with you. It's nice. It's a nice
Modu has been
warm kind
great.
of
Yeah.
guidance.
Yeah, and people, I mean, people have really, really, really like fallen in love with Modu on the internet, which is fun to see. Like everyone loves him. Yes, he is adorable. Yes, he is a little chaotic. He is all of those things. But more than anything, he is helpful and he wants you to build the best thing you can possibly build. And he will stop at nothing to help you get there, right? And that's what you want in your AI companion. Like as you like building these apps, you want someone who's like a partner who understands your goals, understands what you need and how you're going to get there, and he then like helps you reason and challenges you to think about how you're going to get there, and by offering you all the options you need. So remember, you don't have to know exactly the things you need to do, because Modo knows them all for you. He's going to help you pick the right one, and he can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you need him to be, right? So that's like one of the cool things about Modu.
Yeah, because I
And
feel like
it's really
everyone has
cool.
a different level of, coding that they like to do or vibe coding that they like to do. Some people like to see more or less code. So I like that you can configure it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Let's
definitely I like to
see.
see as little code as possible. Um, I'm very much more vibe, less coding. I know some of you are much more about the code because we hear every now and then people asking, but how can I like look into my code or like whatever. Like that's something that a lot of people do care about. Especially if you have like a big software engineering background or you just are someone who just really really knows how to code. For whatever reason, you're more likely to want to look in there and see what's going on. But if you're like me, who just wants to build things and not think too much about the code or technical aspects, it's nice because I never have to click on that tab. And now I don't even have to like enhance my prompt myself. I can just like use the magic wand to make my prompt stronger and know that I'm going to get an even more quality app and just focus on the creative aspect of it. I'll show you
Yeah.
guys one of the apps I built later in this build. I'll show you what I've been working on um, that I'm excited about.
Well, now you can also, the fact that you can chat with it, you can actually ask it questions. So you don't really need to go into the code if you don't want to. So
Hmm.
you can just ask, like, hey, what does this mean? What is API connection?
What is an API connection, Modu?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly. Right. What are you working on? You were just going to say.
what I'm working on. So I don't know who's out there, if anyone cares. It's Love Island season. I'm a big reality TV guy. So I am creating my own reality TV like producer dashboard that
Oh,
allows me
dope.
to produce my own version of a quote unquote Love Island. Um, just like yeah, just in Ohara, and it works. There's still some iterating to do, but my goal is to, like make it like really really fun and share it with like I know there's lots of Love Island people out there. I don't know how many of them are on Ohara, but I'm gonna just share it like probably on like the Love Island subreddit and just be like, I made this cool app that lets you create your
Come play
own
with it. Yeah.
create your own reality TV show. So come play with it. Come use Ohara and create your own Love Island. So yeah, I mean, it's just nice that whatever your interest is, whatever it is that you want to do, there's a way to do it and make it happen in Ohara, um, which is cool. And I love that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I also made a 3D ocean explorer, but that one still needs work. You can
Oh,
like
that
dive
sounds
into the depths of the
interesting.
ocean. You can like find treasures um, and explore marine life and all that stuff. So that's
Nice.
what I've been working on too. That's pretty cool. Um,
Awesome.
yeah. What are y'all building? Sound off in the chat. I'd love to hear what everyone has going on. Maybe you can pull some of your apps up and like show it to people too.
Yeah, I'd
So
love to
if you
feed.
feel, yeah, if you feel inclined to post what you guys are building in the comments. So Stacks, I know you're building things. Don't be shy. Yeah, post in the comments and we'll gladly share. We'll talk about them. Here's your chance to get seen a little bit. Yeah. Um, we'll get started here in a bit. Let's give it one more minute. And we'll get going.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, fresh start here. Let's see how it goes. I like that now we have the upload feature and we can actually add things to our prompt, which is
Hmm.
nice, like an image or an actual layout.
Yeah,
A
as
lot of
about
the
I
users
mean,
are asking for that.
your link trick was very helpful when I was building my Flappy Bird last week because I wanted to create like one that's set inside a TV show I really liked. So I pulled like a background photo of the set and like linked that
Okay.
with
Mhm.
the chat, and I linked one of the characters as well to use as like the actual Flappy Bird icon, and it worked.
For
So
your Ocean Explorer, you might be able to actually source like a public library that has textures of those things that you're trying to find, right? So
oh,
you don't need to download them.
that's such a good idea, and I just
Yeah.
like linked that directly.
Hmm.
Sava, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So like
Wow.
anytime you're building, try to, use the resources available to you, which is usually like a public library, especially if it's something like research based, it's usually
Yeah.
open sourced. So usually you can, borrow from it for your app as well. That's what I used for the Radio Explorer was like the
Hmm.
textures are coming from NASA. So those are like NASA Earth textures or
Yeah,
whatever
like on the
directly. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, for
And
anyone
we're
who
serving it
who
with like 3JS, which is really cool.
yeah, cool.
3JS has been
Okay.
going through a lot of like updates. I don't know if people have been paying attention, but the things you can build with 3JS now that it can generate is
No, I know.
really
I mean,
works
my
out.
3D Ocean Explorer that I have right now was something I had tried to build in the past that just didn't look as good. And I know
Mhm.
it's like a half combination of Builder, half combination of like 3JS getting stronger, but what it looks like now is just much more unrecognizable compared to what it would have been with our previous Builder.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get going.
All
Hi
right.
everyone. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who are here, who are aware and who might not be aware, we had a pretty big announcement yesterday where we released Ohara Builder 2.0, which came with a slew of feature upgrades. Like just some things where we know we've needed these things and but we wanted to make sure we gave them to you as well as we could. So one of my favorite features now is like prompt enhancement. So you write your little prompt in the chat box and then you click a magic wand and it enhances that prompt into something stronger, much more dynamic, something much more specific, to really help you hone in and get the app that you want. We have a bunch of other things like model reasoning that now it reasons before it builds. It like talks through all the options, make sure that you're like seeing the different possibilities before it kind of selects what to do for you. Modu is a big one. Obviously, everyone's fallen in love with Modu, but he guides you through your build. He can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you need him to be. Chat mode is huge. You can just talk about things before you even like start building, like a chance to like plan, and understand what you could possibly use, how you could go about it. And just even if you don't know what to build, that's a great place to just kind of have those ideas and like, okay, what can I build? How do I get started? What is available to me on Ohara, among others. So yeah, we're going to talk through all of that as we go through this build with Slava today, and you can see it. As we do this, post whenever you have a question, just post whatever in the chat. We'll answer as we go along. And then remember, if you want to share what you've been building or what you've been working on, say that as well. You can post your link in the chat. You can say the name of the app. We'll find it and we'll share it. But either way, we want to make this kind of much more of a dynamic, collaborative effort. But yeah, let's get into it. So Slava, what are you working on? Let's let everyone know.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the new builder. If you haven't tried it yet, please go try it out at ohara.ai and see all the enhancements. So this is the prompt enhancement tool here. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. Right next to it is the build option. Now we have a chat option, so you can actually chat with Modu, ask it questions, or look for inspiration. You can upload files, which is nice. A lot of the people that have been using this have been asking for these features, so I'm really excited to see how this enhances the apps that we have. The app that I'll be building today is a recreation of the emoji music maker app that I had. So I want to see what it looks like with Builder 2.0. I have my original prompt here, and I will be using the enhancement tool to see if the enhancement tool saves me a couple of prompts that I had to do to be able to get it to, a working state, I guess. So
Can
what I
can we show people what the older version of the app looked
yeah, sure,
like
of course. Let me
for
turn that.
those who don't remember or who may not have seen it?
Um, yeah, let me just, you know what? I'll just start this over later. Let me go back.
You sure? All right.
Yeah, so let's go here.
Nice verified badge, Slava.
Thank you. Yeah, we're rolling
Um,
those out.
yeah, we've been rolling out verification badges, so keep an eye out. That's just another way to kind of really beef up the experience of the platform and like have people like really be engaged on there. So, yeah, verification live in Ohara.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about the bigger accounts. So if you're paying attention, you'll see they're rolling out slowly. So this is the emoji music maker. I guess I can show you guys the prompts afterwards as well. So what happens here is like you pretty much get a sound. Not sure if you can hear that. Oh,
Hmm.
you can. Great. And then you can kind of drop them in the grid below and make a beat. Let's oh, okay. Sound,
Hey,
control the speed as well. And you can actively drop down as well. So you can You can erase it all. And I wanted to add an export button, but I didn't get that far. And I want to see if we can do that today. I also want to show you guys the actual amount of prompting I did compared to what I'll have to do with Builder 2. So here's the amount of prompts. So let's see how many we have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's the original. So 6 prompts, not that bad. So let's see what we can do today with Builder 2.0. So in my prompt, what I like to do is I like to give the assistant the tools that I'd like to use if I know which tools they are. So for sounds here, I'm using Tone.js. So I'm synthesizing the sounds so I don't have to store them or generate them. So it makes the app lightweight. What you can also do is you can download Tone.js into your app, or you can source it from CDN to make it lightweight so that you don't have to have it in your actual app. And this way your app doesn't get all like bogged down. You can keep adding into your environment because there is a limitation. So what I'll do now is I'll feed the same prompt in. So what I did here was I asked the assistant to use Tone.js from CDN to keep it lightweight. When I speak to Modu, I like to speak to Modu as if it's sentient and can understand what I'm saying, and it's as if it's a human, right? It's my assistant. So I like to speak to it in the you form. So I'll say, you're an expert developer. I like to encourage it before it starts. And I give it some like sound design references. I give it some other game references here to encourage it to like have UI, I guess, framework that it can fill in on its own. So like the UI design is down here, and I'll say like top bar should have all the buttons. The play button should be up there, like a color that it's an example of a color. You don't need to give it a color. I mean, this might be a little overboard, but what I'm doing here is pretty much just explaining the aesthetic of what I'm going for so that it doesn't fill in too much for me. Because if it starts filling in the gaps, then I'll have to keep prompting it out. So as long as I give it my expectations from the first prompt, limiting how much it needs to fill in for me, I'm hoping that it minimizes the amount of prompts I'll need to add to get it to where I like it to be. So what I like to do now with Builder 2 is I like to enhance my prompt first in the chat mode and not in build mode. And then once it enhances it, I'll feed it into Modu, and I'll make sure that Modu understands what I'm requesting, right? So I'll read through the response. I encourage everyone to read through the response because it is you having a conversation with Modu. It's not you just like yelling at it and it's going to produce stuff. If you don't read its response, the next prompt you put in might not be in context with what it's asking. So then it will lose context and then your whole app will break. So it's really important to read what Modu is writing back to you. Otherwise, you could lose the whole build. Oh, okay. So the enhancement's done. It seems a lot shorter than it was. I don't have to scroll half as much or even a quarter of the amount that I had to
So
before.
this is interesting, right? Because for me, when I use prompt enhancement, it's me going, build me a Tetris game, prompt enhancement. And the prompt enhancement goes, okay, here's the functionality, here's the visuals, here's the layout, here's the sound, right? For you, you had a much more elaborate, like almost overkill prompt, and you use prompt enhancement, and it actually made it smaller, more concise, and like cut out the fat, right? So that's, I don't know, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Like prompt enhancement does not necessarily make my prompts bigger. It's definitely make my prompt better.
Yes, exactly. What I think it's doing is, well, not think, I know what it's doing is it's reading through the prompt and then putting it in a form that is acceptable to the builder that is currently activated, right? So if it's Claude, it'll put it in a form that Claude is used to and Claude can build with, right? My words might not all line up with what Claude is used to. So Modu knows the language that Claude likes versus ChatGPT likes. And when I put in my request into Modu, Modu can then take that and digest it and regurgitate it back into whatever form the assistant likes, right? Modu is kind of like the assistant between assistants, right? It's like holding your hand to be able to use Claude, to be able to use all the connections that we have, to be able to use everything else that Ohara has to offer. So it's not like Modu is Claude or is ChatGPT. So it's really interesting that you can switch between those two. Anyway, let me digress. Here, let me put in the actual prompt in chat mode. Make sure that Modu understands what I'm requesting, and then we can go into build. What I like about Modu now is it will explain to you which connections it's using and why it's using that connection. It also explores what other connections are available that you might not have thought of to enhance your app. So that is something that's powerful, which didn't exist before.
Cool. One thing I want to kind of show everyone is, could you scroll a little bit up when you
Yeah,
get the
sure.
chance? So let's look at, Modu did some reasoning there before he even, um,
Hmm.
started talking, right? So you see right here, Modu says the user has provided a detailed specification. So, you provided like a pretty built up prompt. Um, I should still check what connections are available as per my instructions, since this could be relevant to understanding how I might approach building such an application if they were to ask me to do it later, right? So
Yes,
Modu understands that you're not asking him to build quite yet, but he knows that's something that would be upcoming. So what Modu then does is said, okay, how can I understand what possible connections we're going to use to ensure that when
exactly.
it's time to build, I'm ready to do it. So there's no like
Yes,
waiting, there's no long, like Modu is preemptively gearing you up to build because he knows that's the next step, right?
yes.
And
And it
and
gives you the option now to choose, right? Like that's why it's so important to read through what it's actually responding because it will give you recommendations, right? It will say, oh, I found this connection. This is how you can use it in your
Mhm.
app. And if you don't reply saying, I do or I don't want to use this connection, it might build it or it might not. And then your app starts going sideways. So
Right.
I really think it's important to read what Modu is recommending and work with Modu, right? It's kind of a collaborative effort. It's not just you building; you're building together with Modu, and that's important
Hmm.
because that's where the magic happens. I feel like.
Yeah,
So like
correct.
as I was saying, I really am impressed now with the fact that it recommends connections. It looks through its connections first, and then it tells you like, oh, okay, these are the connections that I can use, that I can't use, and it starts recommending said connection, right? So it'll say, let's use 3JS if you want to use 3D later. However, right now we'll keep it 2D. OpenAI for maybe audio generation if we want to use it instead of Tone.js, and Tetris
Mhm.
music if we want to put some Tetris music in there for fun.
Nice.
So it keeps its humor, and it tells you here too. However, the most important technology for this project would be the Tone.js for sound synthesis, right? So it doesn't really need these two. It doesn't really need this as well. So this might be an enhancement that I can choose to add later. So it goes through what enhancements the user might like, but then it really tries to build what you asked of it before it enhances it. So it'll give you your base prompt before it starts to add the 3D stuff or
Hmm.
other music or anything else. So here it's ready to start building. It says what a wonderful conceived music playground, and it's just kind of hyping me up for me building the app, I guess. This is exactly what I asked for, which was a grid. I asked for a sound engine. I asked for a mobile first design because I know most people are going to interact with this on mobile.
Hmm.
I asked for real time playback and that it's smooth so that there is no lag when they're actually playing the sequence back. And I asked for 24 different sounds. So let's see how it does. Okay, Modu, let's build.
The user's excited to build. Oh, I love Modu. He is such a hype man, and and it's nice to have someone who's just as excited to be there as you, right? Because as we've discussed many a time on different vibe code, like vibe coding is fun until it isn't, right? Sometimes it's hard, and it's like things aren't necessarily working as well or as easy as you want them to, right? So having someone like Modu around who is keeping you, keeping those emotions a little under wraps, helping you know that it's a stressful process, but you don't have to be stressed out about it, and just hypes you up and it's like reaffirms your good ideas. Like that's nice. Like that's like something we all need. And we've talked a lot about how like community is what kind of keeps us all going in this kind of environment we're in, this vibe code environment. Like no one can do it alone. And when it's 2 a.m., even if you're coding in the like in the dark by yourself, you're not really alone because you have Modu there with you. You know, he's there with you, he's guiding you, he's helping you, he's answering your questions. When you might not have like someone else that's accessible at that time, which I think is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
No, it's awesome. One thing I did want to mention is when you're in chat mode, because you haven't built anything yet, there's nothing in the sandbox, so you might see this. It's really not an error. You just kind of have to wait for it to build. So FYI for the builders out there.
So while it writes code, so I guess question for you of in Builder 2.0, what's your favorite new feature that we have? Like I don't think I know.
I really think it's the chat feature. I
Yeah.
enjoy bouncing back and forth between what I'm building and what Modu recommends. Because sometimes it could recommend things that I haven't thought of. And I like that because I sit down and I like to like truly vibe with the assistant, right? I come in with a
Hmm.
certain idea, but I'm not set in stone. So I like to experiment and see which way the app can go, depending on, what
Hmm.
I allow it to do. What's nice is I can remix my own apps too, right? I can just make a, Slava remix account and then remix my apps to then try a different path without sacrificing what I've already built.
Yeah.
So,
Do you find yourself while you're already in build mode going back to chat mode before you
yes,
reiterate or change something? Okay, what
always.
can you like what would be like a good use case for that if you can like explain? Because for
If
me, I
there's
think
an
like one,
error,
yeah.
I think what I'm doing now is I always chat before I build every single prompt. So before I put the prompt in, I'll kind of like have a discussion with Modu and then we'll build. And then I'll discuss the situation with Modu again and then I'll build. So I'll give you an example. Um, right now, it's building this current iteration. If there's something I don't like, I'll go back to the chat option and I'll say, Modu, this button doesn't seem like it's in the right place. I'd like to move it. Where would you recommend it goes? Or what color do you think it should be looking at other templates that we've seen? And then it'll give me some options or it'll say, looking at this button, I think the best fix would be blah, 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 blah. And then if I like that fix, I'll be like, okay, let's try that build. If not, I'll say, no, let's try, whatever else I might think of at the moment. So I don't have to
Hmm.
sit there for like 10 minutes waiting for it to build the actual preview. I can now kind of discuss what the preview might look like before I hit build. So I go back to the chat mode frequently.
Cool. Do you think that's at least in chat mode, do you think that's something that can be helpful for like when you want to add like the final layer aesthetics or visuals of the app? Because I think about something that one of the tips you actually gave when it comes to building is like functionality first, visuals, aesthetics later, right? Like get the app working first and then focus on what it looks like. So is chat mode a good place to then really like I like kind of like brainstorm, figure out what your app can look like before then you build it. Like, you don't know, is that a good place for
Yeah.
that, or you think it's the better just like go for it?
Um, I think it's a good place to ideate regardless of what it might be, whether it's
Okay.
a feature, whether it's the UI. And honestly, people build from different directions, right? Like I might build from the feature side first, just that's my preference. Some people might
Hmm.
build from the UI first and then start adding more features. So honestly, I don't know. I've never taken that path. I've always built feature first and then, like the way I think about it is kind of like I'm building the framework of the house and then I'll put the coating on it or paint, whatever that might be. So I think of that
Yeah.
as the UI. So but that might not be the case anymore, right? You might be able to say, hey, I want a pretty, app that looks this way. And then how do we fill this in with features? Modu would definitely be
Hmm.
able to recommend that for you as well.
Right.
That might be an interesting path. I'm interested. I might take that path now just to see, right?
Yeah. I wonder if Modu has a preference. If you ask him, like, Modu, do you prefer building feature first or visuals first? I'm
Yeah.
curious. I'm gonna ask him. Let's see what he
Go
has to
ahead.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see what he says. All right, so let's see where we are here while you do that. Um, all right, so it started the audio engine with 24 sounds. It started the sequencer for us to place the sounds into. It started to optimize for mobile as well. And it's making a little stats monitor for us to know that we're not skipping any frames per second or anything like that, which I usually get rid of because I don't think it's nice UI to have just a FPS monitor in the corner. It feels like I'm going to play a first person shooter or something.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
All right, now it's creating a control box for everything. And I believe now it's tying everything together on the main page. So yay. We should be done soon or shortly. Oh,
One thing I
getting
want to
cool
add,
time.
especially with the new builder, and how much I've been playing around with it, it is helpful for me as a non-technical person who does want to know what's going on without looking at code to know what all the steps are, right? So before Modu writes any code, like he tells you what the next set of codes are going to be, right? So it's like, okay, next we're going to do X, Y, Z, and here's why we're doing it, and you see his reasoning, and then he tells you he's going to do it. And for me, it's been helpful to understand what goes into
Hmm.
build in some of these apps that I like, right? Like I do like to learn, I do like to know things, I do like to understand them, even if I'm not actively coding myself. It's so helpful for my logic because then when I'm building something similar next time, then I'm gonna know um, like what that looks like. And a really cool case I ran into with Modu yesterday was, while I was building my reality TV show producer dashboard, I noticed that like whenever I would generate like contestants, they were always the same. They all had the same characteristics. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that like all the characteristics are the same. Like there's no real variety there. So my hypothesis was it's not pulling in the um,
Hmm.
OpenAI API correctly. That's just my hypothesis. Like it's hard coding in things for these characters
Yes.
instead of like actually like generating them. And so I told that to Modu. I said, hey, this is what I'm seeing, and here's what my hypothesis is. And Modu actually got back to me and says, okay, let's investigate your hypothesis. Went through what I was saying and it came back and said, your hunch was right. Like that is exactly what's happening. I looked through the API file and saw that we were not properly pulling it in and we were hard coding that data, right? And so Modu, like it was like kind of like look at you, like it literally was. I can read you exactly what he said to me, but he called me like he's like you're a natural, like you're a natural born detective or something like that. And I
What
was
is so
like,
cute?
and I was like, thank you, Modu. I am a natural born detective. I do know how to put my clues together and figure out what's going on there. And it's just like being able to have that other kind of interaction, that interpersonal thing where it's like, yeah, I had a theory. I proposed my theory. He said, okay, let's investigate. He investigated and said, you were right. That is what's happening. Right. That's skills I've learned just by using this builder. So like there's this idea that yes, Ohara is for the non-technical user, but in a way, the more you use it,
Yeah, the more
it's
technical you
slightly
become.
you get more technical, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a teaching platform as well as it is a platform where you don't have to know these things. You learn them by inherently using it. So anyway, that was really cool that when that happened, I was like, okay, Modu, yeah, like I love that I'm like learning what APIs are and how they truly function. Like I know what an API is, I know how it works, but being able to sit there and say, I don't think this is working because the API has been put in correctly. And it says if you want, you can open DevTools and look. And if you see that the proxy is failing when you call it, then you know your hunch is right. And I opened up the DevTools and I looked and I saw that the proxy was failing every time I try to like generate
Oh,
a
okay.
character,
Yeah.
which is cool. All right, we have your app.
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, it has all the emojis, which is nice, and it has the sequenced grid at the bottom. So let's see, if it's working. So I don't hear anything. I don't know if you can hear anything.
No, I don't hear anything this
All
time.
right. Well, let's see if I can place them though. Okay, I can place them, which is nice. So it seems like Tone.js is probably just not loading accordingly. Oh, wait.
Oh, it plays on here.
Okay, so there's no preview sound, and then it's not playing the second time around. Oh, I see what happened. So Tone.js needs to load to. So before I even started this, I should have said what I wanted to say was after your build finishes building, um, refresh it before you use it just to make sure everything loads in the right time, because as the preview loads, it might not load everything accordingly. So refresh the page before you do. One thing I did want to mention before I reload the page is now, if you can see, it checks for app issues. So you don't have to copy paste errors anymore, which is amazing. Yeah, so no more copy pasting errors, no more debugging on your own of like, did I copy everything correctly or open down the menu correctly? Modu will do it all for you, which is really cool. If you see Modu kind of like cycling through the errors, that just means that it's trying to fix the error in one way or another. So some errors just take longer than others to fix. Bear with Modu, and he will get through it. All right, so let's refresh the page and let's see if all the sounds are working. All right, so let's put them down here. Press play. All right, so now that sound started. Okay, great. The one thing that I am noticing though is the sounds are the same in each section. So like all the percussion icons seem to have almost the same sound. There's sounds that are repeating. So what I'm gonna say to Modu is, and we have to remember, he's a live being, so we have to encourage him. Good job, Modu.
Yes, everyone, you hear that? Be nice to Modu because he's nice to
It
you.
works properly.
Don't be mean to Modu.
Now let's make sure that each emoji sound is unique and references the emoji image.
So while Slava does that, one thing I want to point out to you all who are watching is one of the cool things about our new builder is just it's like incredible attention to detail in the ways of things about things that it previously wouldn't have. So just looking at what this layout of this app looks like versus the initial one where it was the emoji music maker and you just had like the 16 apps on there versus the 16 emojis up there and there's just no organization, nothing to it. And now you look at this one, you see like it organizes the emojis based on type, like it's percussion, it's melodic, metallic, it's synths. Like it already structures out this in like a different, cooler way. It tells you what each sound is versus the other one that did not tell you what the sounds were. It just kind of like through the emojis, and you have to like, figure out what the emoji sounds made. And then this one also has like a cooler, more visual, more aesthetic layout to it, right? That's Builder 2.0 in action. It's just already significantly better. Like I look at this, I'm already excited to continue my build in a way that I may not have been previously. And that's the cool thing about Builder 2.0. I was like, its attention to detail is really, really superb. And like the differences between what you can create from the same prompt is night and day. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I'm letting Modu know that everything works properly. And I want each emoji sound to be unique and a little closer to the image that they're representing. So like the piano should be a piano sound. Drum is drum. Piano is piano, etc. And then I want the grid to be a little more prominent on the page. Instead of just being little squares, I want it to be a little bigger here. I'm not going to tell it how big. I want Modu to do that for me. And I want to make sure that the emojis are a little better organized on top here. I want them to be in 2 rows of 12 instead of the scattered kind of grid. So then there'll be 2 rows of 12 emojis and then the sequencer below it. I also like Tone.js to start properly because right now the preview doesn't load when I first refresh. I have to kind of like play the sound before it does. So I'm not really liking that. So I'd like to fix that as well. And at the bottom, I like to tell it to reference my original prompt so it doesn't go sideways and it knows, hey, this is what we've been building. Let's remember what we're working on. I'm doing this in chat mode because I want to see what it replies. I'm not going to tell it to reference my original prompt in the build. So this is why I like chat, because this way I can see what it tells me from the actual thoughts it's having.
See, it's changing I see it's reason how it's going to change the emojis. That's so cool.
So here it says, you're absolutely right. I see several important improvements that we can make. And hopefully now it starts making them. Let's see. So it refreshes the preview even when you're in chat mode. Obviously nothing changed yet because we haven't built, just giving you a heads up. So what it's doing now is it's giving me an understanding of what it'll do. So like the current issues is this is mapped to a synth, this trumpet is mapped to something else, the saxophone is not smooth. So it's going to fix all the emoji sounds for me. It'll fix the layout as I asked. So it'll make the emojis into 2 rows of 12. It understood that. It understood that I want a larger, more prominent timeline grid for the sequencer, and a bit better just visual hierarchy for like what's important. Tone.js will initialize properly. So now that I know it understood exactly what I asked, I can go into build and say, yes, let's build it. Let's fix these. Modu. All right. So now Modu will start building.
All right. So we'll see what Modu comes back with.
Yeah, I'm excited.
For anyone who's just joining us, quite a few people have joined us recently. We're going through just our new builder and talking through changes to our platform and talking through, Modu, one of the biggest changes and how he's now going to guide you through the build process. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them, whether about Modu, about Ohara Builder 2.0, our new features with that, just vibe coding in general, any upcoming events or features we have, whatever it is, just feel free to ask. We're happy to answer questions, or just like say hi, or we're also fine with that too. And what Slava's working on here is remixing a version of his app. He's making a new version using Builder 2.0 of an app he had once created. What was a pretty iconic app in its day. I don't know, Slava, I don't even remember how crazy I was going about that when I met you.
That was fun. Thank you.
It was a pretty iconic app in its day, and it's just wild to see how now that app looks like nothing compared to what this is. Like it looks like literally like remedial compared to this. Like it's not anything like this at all. But in its time, I was like, whoa, this is so cool that someone's able to make this. And I'm like, what we can do is like so much better. So I'm excited to see how Modu takes kind of these fixes and turns it into the V2 of this version.
So this was pretty much like 2 prompts so far, right? So we had the initial prompt that I enhanced, and then right now I just gave it a prompt to kind of fix the things I didn't like. But the other one was like 6 to get it to even the state that it's going to be in now, I hope. So the builds are a lot stronger. It's a lot easier to get to a successful state, I'd say. What's also interesting is like it's easier to create versioning by yourself, right? So Modu can version for you if you teach him to do it. So you can tell Modu, hey, let's version this as V1 and remember this state going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And everything from this will be, V1.1. And then you can do V2 for the next. So you can go back to V1 because Modu will then remember. But it's important to start building that way because you can't do it retroactively. Yeah.
Cool. I didn't even know we could do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Modu also speaks other languages. So if you don't speak English and you speak whatever you want to speak at it, Modu understands. So enjoy coding in your native tongue.
Modu is for the people.
Yeah, Modu's international. All right, so it seems to be working on the main page now, so we're almost there.
What all have you built since we launched 2.0? I guess it's only really been a day and a half, but
I've been trying to rebuild the apps that I had. So like I'm trying to rebuild the radio app. I'm trying to rebuild this one. I also want to see what we can do now with 3JS and the builder because they're both getting stronger. So I want to see what like visually aesthetic kind of like just artsy apps we can make where it's like just flowing with your keyboard or mouse and listening to music maybe. Because I think that it's fun to just create experimental like experience apps too. It doesn't necessarily need to be like, oh, this is a game or this is a function for your wallet on crypto or this is a dex. Just artsy projects are fun too, so I want to see what we can make.
That's definitely where I lean when I create. Is much more like in the for fun, for art, for the vibes category of things. Obviously like functional apps are so cool. Like anything like in the crypto space, like I see a lot of like cool like dashboards that just kind of help you like properly track things. I mean, we
Mhm.
have so many connections that help you, like, pull those like real-time prices within like OX. So
Yeah,
it's nice to
universal
see people
API.
like Universal, like it's nice to see people like leverage those connections, like make cool like visual like trackers. Um, but then for me, it's like I mentioned earlier, I'm like making like a reality TV producer dashboard. I make like an ocean explorer. Like I'm making things that are much more for like, yeah, like it's not going to help you make a lot of money trading coins, but you might just have a blast playing it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I
You
don't know.
might
I
just
feel
have
like,
the time of
we
your
have
life.
the platform to trade coins. We need
Yeah.
something where it's like touch grass, right? Like anything away
Literally,
from the dashboard would be nice too. Like
literally
sit
touch grass.
shorts all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need an
Oh my
escape.
God.
That's honestly why I was like making these kind of like fun little audio apps and whatnot. Like this isn't a crypto app at all. Like I
Mhm.
wanted to do something where it's like, to escape and like just to have fun for a minute. Create
Yeah.
something, experiment with something. What's also fun is like because Ohara is free, you can just like practice all day. Kind of like, when you have to like jam before you get on stage, like you don't write your own songs right away, right? You play other people's songs, you practice one chord or another for a while before you
Hmm.
start like, oh, I can now play something, and then you start to create. But in the beginning, you're just, experimenting, and like this is a perfect playground. Like have as many drafts as you like, play all day and get better at it. I mean, it's
Literally play all day. Um, and that's true. Yeah, I mean that is something that really does set us apart from a lot of other tools out there. Is you can just try as much as you want and go as much as you go. There's no paywall. There's no end in sight. Like you can build until you physically cannot build anymore.
yeah,
Um, which
that's
for
insane.
many of us out here is never. We're never going to be able to not build. Like we're building for the future. We're building for the world that is coming. Like it's just kind of is the next frontier. Um, and
Well, what's
we're
crazy
just
to me is like the connections are something that you would have to pay for outside of Ohara, right? So like
hmm
like just everything's like $15, $20, $15 or $5 or $10 a month. So like it's really you're getting like, I don't know, $300 a month for free from Ohara to play with as much as you want.
hmm
It's insane.
like why
So
would you not? Why would you not do it? There's
yeah.
there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah, you're literally losing value not doing it. So I don't understand why everyone isn't.
It's happening. That's the goal, right? We're gonna get everybody on chain.
Yeah.
And it starts now. Well, it started already, but it continues now. Um, it continues now.
Almost there. Come on, Modu. Where are we, Modu?
Final hurdle Modu.
Oh, it found some issues. Okay, so it's fixing some of the issues. I see.
So one of the cool features, right, with our new builder is the auto debugger. So now, it'll find those issues and it'll start fixing them before you even know that those errors existed. Like I know many of you, how you sent your screenshots of your errors and you just, you've copied and pasted it back in the builder and you've done that over and over and like it helps and it works, but sometimes it's time consuming. Now, like before you even know there's an error, it's already in the process of being fixed, right? That's the magic of Builder 2.0. Like that's even less guesswork for you, even less trying to understand or figure out what's going wrong, and more time to make the right even better. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what we're doing here. We're like taking away as much of the guesswork as we can. Even something as simple as like the preloaded connections. Like to some people, it might feel like, oh, didn't you guys already have automatic connections? And yeah, we have automatic connections, but preloaded connections takes that even a step further. Right now, it's not just, oh, when you need an API, the builder automatically adds it for you. Now all your app comes preloaded with all the APIs, and Modu just picks the right one to use. Like that's a step further in the let's not have them think about APIs direction. And that just shows again like how much we're putting the builder top of mind, because we want to take away any hurdle, any obstacle to building the app that you want. And that's just another way that we've like done that for you. Is with the
Yeah,
preloaded
because
connections.
honestly, with the API connections, that you might, if it's not a direct connection, you might have issues with parsing or
Hmm.
just serving the JSON file or whatever that might be, and you wouldn't know how to fix it if it wasn't a direct connection. So
Yeah.
this kind of like takes all that away. And here so it found three issues. So this was one. Here was another like issue with importing. There was another issue with the sequencer. So this just removed about 3 or 4 prompts for me, where before I would have to do is sit here, copy the error, paste the error, wait,
Mm-hmm.
do it all over again and wait. Where now Modu checks for errors through the code and fixes them in one go, which
Mm-hmm.
saves you a lot of time. This would have taken me like half an hour, which is now taking me 5-10 minutes instead. And now it's checking the app to make sure there's no more errors left, just rechecking everything that it fixed. Yay, successful. It fixed everything. So we should see a new preview. And while it's loading, I just want to reiterate the fact that I said when I'm in chat mode, we had the sandbox error. That doesn't mean there's an error. Don't freak out. Just go into build and build. When you start building, the sandbox will start filling with code and you will see a preview show up. So that is
Mm-hmm.
not an error. That's just the sandbox kind of waiting for you to start coding in it. So let's take a look. So now there's an actual button to start the sound. So this should fix the Tone.js loading properly. So now when I click on a sound, fingers crossed, we get a preview. Yay!
Yeah.
They're more unique as well.
Yeah.
All right. And now hopefully the, well, let me refresh. Not get too excited first. The sequencer is more prominent and that should be everything. Oh, it broke my sequencer. All right. But regardless of the fact, what I should have done is followed my tips and tricks and done one change at a time with just the emojis and then the grid separately. But it's a lot better, and I would invite all of you to try it. We do have a contest happening right now on Ohara AI for a single prompt build. So let us know what you can and impress us with your single prompts. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to your build.
Crips, are you still in the chat? Do you have any advice for people entering the contest as a two-time winner? I don't know if you're still here, but we do. We do. I would love to know what advice you have to give to those who are trying to experience the
Yeah,
glory that you have.
trying to replicate your success.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyone watching, like, contests are a great way to just, like, again, especially if you're not super sure what to build or how to get started, that's like just an easy way to get in there. Like, our themes can be sometimes pretty specific, sometimes more broad, but it just is a good guideline because you can just go into Modu and be like, yeah, I'm trying to enter this one-shot prompt contest and I'm just not quite sure what to do there, you know? So what's going there? Hi Ben, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Um, and you just go in there and you can see what's what mode you can suggest to you. So
Yeah, like treat it as an assistant, like literally ask it questions and let it recommend what you should build. No brainer at all. Are you building anything for the contest, Melody?
I am. So I was trying to. Well, I think I finished my build. I haven't submitted yet, but I built a one shot um like mood assistant essentially. So what it does is I select my mood. So maybe I'm feeling stressed, maybe I'm feeling annoyed, or maybe I'm feeling happy or calm, whatever. You select your mood, and based on your mood, it can recommend what to wear, what to have for breakfast, whether or not I should, like, go to gym or go to the office or whatever the case is. It just will help me organize my day based on the mood I woke up in. So that's why I tried to do it one shot prompt, and it mostly worked. I haven't submitted it yet, but I'm gonna submit it. But the app itself, it looks cool. It's functioning. And I was like, why not that?
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, it reminds me of the Flow State app, where it's
it
like,
it it
where
does
are
remind me.
you now and where do you want to be?
Yeah. I mean,
Breathe
it's it
this way.
it's definitely nice to build. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm very inspired by the people who have gone on a platform to build, like, anything kind of on the mental health or the health and wellness, like, realm of things. I think it's so cool to use our platform for that purpose because it does just go to show the breadth of what you can create on there. And that's just something I saw like a lot of people really did was like, and we highlighted a few of those last month for Mental Health Awareness Month. We highlighted
Yep.
Sir Stax's sensei, like just like kind of want to just, it's just cool that people were creating that. And you know, maybe you created it just for yourself. I mean, last week we were had like Karima on live stream and her viral app Crash Out is essentially a form of a mental wellness app, right? That is something
Yeah.
that is very, very important today. So it's nice to see people go on there and like kind of make their own version of that. So yeah, look at some of the
Just
contents. Let's look at some of the
taking a
content
look at the
submissions before.
contestants. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
I know this one
Oh
will
wait,
play Sir
I
Stacks.
saw a music one. You should go that after that after you
I
look at
will.
yours.
Let me see.
Yeah.
What is this? All right. So Kobe Insight. AI, train your mind. All right. So
I
we get
love the
to
black and white.
chat.
It's cool.
Oh, R.I.P. Kobe. That's cute. So you get to kind of like get recommendations or like lessons,
Cool.
what Kobe would have said, right? So like
Yeah,
my
I love this,
basketball careers,
and
like
I love the Lakers theme too.
yeah, right. When they were still cool.
I know.
Yeah,
Now
really
it's all
cool,
about the
Addy.
Knicks
I
and
like
New
it.
York.
I like it. Nice little tribute to Kobe. Let's go back and see what else we got here.
It's just like, how do you even think of that? That's awesome. Like people's minds are like just, I don't know, so
I just love
advanced.
to see what people can create. That's why I was like, yo, if
Yeah.
you give people tools, they will make magic. Oh, okay. So we get to.
Oh, it's one of those games where you have to look at the
Yeah,
instructions.
what are we doing? Let me mute that. That was a little loud. Hold on. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. It says it up here. QA. So QWER. Okay, I can do these four or these four. All right, I got it. Let's
Yeah.
see. Nope.
It's not working?
No. Oh, one of them worked. Oh, good button. Oh, that's one button.
Are you
No,
sure it's not working or are you just bad at the game?
I'm just bad at the game. It's really bad and pretending like it doesn't work because I'm like missing them all. So I'm like, oh, it's not the game. It's not me. It's the game. You know.
It's the game. Of course the game is bad.
Oh, look, somebody
That's cool.
made a game in Russian. What is this? Yeah, I am gonna not butcher that. I moved here too young to remember. Oh, it doesn't work. All right, let's try next one. Let's see. What did you make, Mr. Shibat? ASIC maker. Very cool. All right, let's drop an image in here. Let's drop a little hello world.
While we go through this, we have about 3-ish minutes left on our live stream. So if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns about Modu, Builder 2.0, whatever, now is your time to get those answered. But of course, you can always tweet at us, cast us on Farcaster, find us on Discord, Telegram, Reddit, YouTube. Modu's gonna have an Instagram account very soon, so you can follow his adventures there. So yeah, you can find us across all this platform and get your questions answered. But also, you have us here now, so now's a good time.
Yeah, if you want to show your apps on here, we'll try it. So if you want to drop it in the comment, I'll open it and give you some feedback too. Go ahead. This is pretty cool. They built a whole crypto art marketplace in a single prompt. Oh, and the tabs work. Impressive. Very cool, Ivan. I'm not sure if you're watching, but I like it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
All right, let's check out one more. Oh, look, Melody, it's
Oh,
you.
that's mine. Wait, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
oh
all
my gosh.
right, let's see.
I hope it works. Wait,
All
I
right,
hope
so
it
how are we
works.
feeling today? Excited about Modu. All right, you're feeling excited. Share some details. I'm speaking with Melody on our stream.
Oh gosh, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna
He's
be so embarrassed.
he's your creator, by the way. We are very excited to share Modu with everyone. All right, let's get recommendations. Oh no!
No, it did this last time too. It was working until it wasn't. All right, that's embarrassing. See, but that's the beauty of building.
Fun,
Sometimes it
exactly, right?
works
We
and
can
sometimes
rebuild
it
it,
doesn't
build
work.
it, and build it back better.
Exactly. Well, I can't rebuild this one better. It says your one prompt app.
Well, you
That's
can
so
prompt it
annoying.
again, right? You can take that prompt, make it a little better, try again.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so annoying.
It's all right.
Um,
Practice makes perfect. That's why we're here.
exactly. Can we, did you get show the final version of what your app looks like before we,
Sure, let's do that.
let's just see what it looks like
My
now.
drafts. Yeah, so here, look how many drafts I have, guys. You just keep making
289
more.
draft.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Just, sit here and test
Just
your
build.
ideas out as much as
You
you
see
want.
that? Just build.
Okay, so this is what we have. The sounds work. The grid got broken. Um, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how quickly it got me to this point. This was only two prompts, as I mentioned. So the other one took me about six prompts to
Uh,
get to a place where I was happy. So I think I can do this in just one more prompt where I just have to fix the grid, where now
Grid,
I have
make the grid
everything
better.
else the way
Yeah.
I want. And
But
here I
just,
actually have my export function where I did not have that in the previous build. So here I can export a WAV file and it should, yeah, come into my down. Oh, you guys can't see my tab, but so I have a tab that opens up as my downloads and then it downloads a WAV file of your current sequence, which I don't have one. But yeah, it's definitely a lot stronger. I'm liking that I can chat with Modu before I actually go into it. And I like that it actually takes the errors for me where I didn't have to sit here for half an hour copying and pasting. Like you literally saw it do it in 10 minutes as opposed to copying and pasting. What was it, like four errors? Here,
mm-hmm.
one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, okay, four, and then it checked for app issues again. So which is nice because what it does now is like it fixed all four errors. Then it looked through the code one more time before it finally said, okay, now I'm sure there's no errors. Let me give you a preview. As opposed to before where it was like you'd fix one error and then you'd get three new errors and then you, yeah. So this is a lot better. Very happy. I'm looking forward to seeing the builds. I hope you guys are all happy and the audience as well. Chat, please build something. Share it with all of us. We'll repost it.
Yeah. Yes, yes, please, please build and keep building, keep sharing, keep, like spreading the good word. Um, yeah, thank you all for joining us. This was awesome. We had so many of you with us today. We'll be back next week. And we'll be doing a lot more of these. So just come live build with us, come share your builds, come ask questions, and just come know more about what's upcoming on our slate, on your slate. We're gonna have a few more events upcoming, both on live streams, but some more in-person things as well. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be announcing some stuff shortly. And yeah, looking forward to see what you guys create on 2.0. Any closing words, Slava? Any final words for our guests?
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Melody, for hosting this. I enjoy building with you all the time. If you guys want to jump into our Discord and vibe code together, or if you have any issues or want to go through the tips and tricks channel, feel free to join us. Our Discord is very friendly and welcoming of everyone. Yeah, nothing else, I guess. Just looking forward to the contestants and the apps that they submit.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your beautiful day wherever you are. And we'll talk again soon. And Modu says bye also. You
Cheers,
can't hear
everybody.
him, but he says it. Bye, everyone.
In spirit.